Today's episode of Take a Sip is sponsored by Josephine and the wonderful team at Growth Psychology Consulting. Their Liverpool-based team is dedicated to supporting the well-being of adults, children, families, and business owners through professional and compassionate psychological care. Thank you for supporting today's episode and our Business Mum Society community.
Denise should have her own show.
I reckon.
I'll produce
For all the crazy mothers out there, put your hands up in the air. I think my husband will saw me off.
Welcome to Take a Sip podcast. I am your host, Karma Jamanos, and we have Joe Diaz from JD Marketing.
I thought you were pointing to Denise.
You're on this side for me.
Oh, really? I'm over on the first one.
And I'm down below.
Okay. Anyways, I'm Joe from JD Marketing. I am the co-host of Take a Sip, and we have our special guest, Denise.
From Petit Jardin Couture. I said it right. How are we today,
So
Denise?
Today's topic is all about time management for time poor mums, and I think we have a very good panel here today because I feel like we can all bring our own little, spice to what we consider being time poor. We're all mums, we're all busy, we've all got our own things going on, and even just to get this set up today
That was so
with
funny.
Denise.
It's just hilarious.
Am I doing content?
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, obviously being time poor is we can all relate. It's such a person thing, but specifically such a mum thing. Being time poor, juggling so many different things, trying to juggle kids and family life and business life and external things and all of the other things that come with the territory. But yeah, I thought we'd get started maybe talking about, I guess what does time management look like to either of you? Emma, do you want to get started?
So, Denise, for me, I've started this Outlook calendar thing with my husband, and people are shocked by how detailed our calendar is, and it looks like it's chock-a-block full, but we put everything in there, even like packing lunches by a certain time, or if I've got a photo shoot but he needs me that day or part of the day, I have to add him to that calendar invite as well so he can see it and knows not to disturb me in that time frame. So calendar invites has been a godsend, but this has been over the years, even before our girls were born. And now that my daughter's old enough to work, we invite her to calendar invites as well, so she can take that weekend off if we're going somewhere or doing something that's needs her as well.
Wow.
So she knows to actually NA that week or that day or stuff like that. So it just saves the time from asking and waiting. So they go to the calendar, they see, okay, we're busy that day, I'm not available. So
that's really smart.
Yeah. So calendar invites all the way.
Yeah. Denise?
Yeah. See, I can't do the calendar invite. I tried with my family. They just told me, stop pestering me with too many reminders and too many things to do.
So the key is team effort. Everyone has to be on board.
That's right. So with my family, I try to juggle. I start off with the priority for that day. What is a priority that I have to do? And I get up and I do it. We have our regular things that we're always working on, which I'm constantly doing. And that becomes part of our, daily routine. And then anything else that's priority that I have to do for that morning or for that day, even in the afternoon, as I run a very heavy schedule in the afternoon, that all gets sorted out, and it's all via communication with every member of the family. Like I'll have like about 10 phone calls with my husband that day. Babes, I've got this. Same with my daughter, same with my son, and even the youngest. Like they're all on par, and they just feel that they need to be communicating with me directly, as in what they have to get done. So I did try the calendar, which I thought would be easier, but they didn't appreciate it, and they just put it in the ignore basket.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's funny because I like personal life and my business life, I run on calendar, and like everyone in my family knows, and they have it as a running joke of, if it's not in the calendar, it just doesn't exist in my world.
Yeah.
Because that I literally schedule everything in there, from like bills to like family commitments to like phone calls that I have to make, or school things for crews, or like if he's got book week coming up, or like literally everything that I need to remember, I put it on a calendar. But my husband's not very, he doesn't like he's techie, but he hates calendars. And so I can't like add him into the calendar, because he just will never look at it. He never opens up the calendar up on his phone ever. And so
Mm.
we have to like calendar, and then when it comes up, then him and I will like communicate about it. Be like, oh, tomorrow this is happening, or next week this is happening, or by the way, like this weekend we're busy because we're doing XYZ. And then he'll be like, oh, okay, and then he'll just remember it. Whereas I don't remember anything if it's not in my calendar.
Yeah. No, yeah, it needs to be in the calendar because you need to literally brain dump. Otherwise,
Yes.
Yes,
we store too many things in our heads, and
that's
I'm
right.
forgetting
Yes.
every 30 seconds. There's a new thought, and then the old ones
I
have gone
know.
somewhere.
And I
I
guess I'm a bit old school too. I like writing down a lot of notes. So I've always
know.
got a notebook with me. Writing down notes and jotting ideas, especially because with my profession, like if an idea pops up, I'm always constantly sketching items. So I'm always writing things along the side, like what I'm doing. So I do find that that's very useful for me and still works. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting how we've all kind of got our own little ways of managing our time. Do you think that either of you have ever been guilty of like overcommitting yourself?
All the time.
My
Yeah.
husband's
All the
always
time.
like, slow down, stop giving yourself to too many people or tasks, or but they need help, and that's, I think, a female thing as well. We always need to help. It's
Yes.
just a
Yeah.
second nature thing. So, but also like I had to learn to value my own time. Otherwise, other people, like, how are other people going to value my time if I don't value it myself?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's
Yeah.
constant learning, and there's always constant. It's always people coming at my husband and I for advice for something, which is fine. I'm happy to give the advice, but we're learning now to delegate that and say, reach out to this person,
Mm.
reach out to that person, because for us to do what they need, it's going to be time consuming, and they would
Mm-hmm.
appreciate like us referring to other people that have the time to do what they need.
That's right.
I like to be available for everybody.
Yeah,
So
that's the
especially
problem
my
about
family,
burnout.
that's for my family, like
Yeah,
that,
for
and not
family, yeah.
only my immediate family, but like also my siblings and my parents. Like I appreciate it if they call me in regarding
Yeah.
something, to a certain point,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
until
But
they do my hitting, and I'll tell them,
yeah.
okay,
And then it's crazy Denise again.
Stop
But that's
calling me.
yeah. But that's where you lead to burnout with your own emotional,
yes,
your mental and emotions. Because like, okay,
yes,
well, it's great. Like you always feel like you want to be wanted and needed.
Mm.
But there's also
yeah.
another thing I'm learning about, especially in the female mentality, that if I don't do this, they might not love me.
Mm.
You don't feel validated, or you don't feel
Yeah,
needed,
but
or you
what are
don't
we
feel.
really feeding though? What are we feeding our ego? Are we feeding like, are we lacking in something in our own life?
See,
Like we
no, I
should be
don't think
able
that
to
way.
say no and be confident enough that they will still love us no
Yeah,
matter what.
Yeah. It's hard, I think, because, like we were saying before, there's so many different like competing priorities, and they all are priorities in their own sense. And so sometimes it's difficult to like determine which of those priorities are this week I need to sacrifice, because I can't do all of them. And so like my family are very close. I know when I mean close, I mean like we see each other at minimum once a week. More than likely it's like two, three,
yes,
4 times a week.
yeah.
Um, and so, but sometimes I just genuinely don't have time. I don't have time to, like go to my sister's house and see the family and like see my parents and stuff. Sometimes I just don't have time, because I'm competing with obviously like my business. Cruz's needs, and on the weekends he does swimming and like extracurricular activities and all these other things. And then on top of that, then we're trying to also prioritize our family time and us being the three of us, and us having time for each other. And then on top of that, then in that as well, like my husband and I also want to sometimes have us time. But how do you fit all of those things into, like, when there's only 24 hours in a day, and for the majority of that we're sleeping? You know what I mean? And so that's the thing that I struggle with the most, is sometimes being okay with saying no to certain things, and like no to certain people when I know that I genuinely don't have time for it. Not because I just want to do nothing, but because there's other things happening.
That is more priority. Yeah. I've had
Yeah.
clients that rush me, such a deadline. Oh my God, I need the photos or videos now. And then a week when I find, and I'm stressing, okay, I send it to them, and 2 weeks later, oh, can you send the link again? I didn't get a chance to download it. I thought it was urgent. So I've learned now to be like, nah, this is my time. You'll get them when you'll get them, and this is the time frame, and there's no urgency because it's not real. Because it's videos and photos. Like, unless it's
the world
life-threatening, it's not gonna. But 9 times out of 10, they don't end up downloading them the minute I send it to them, and my links last only the 5 days for that reason, because I'm not storing them. It's I've got a lot of footage. I'm not storing it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah. How about you, Denise? Have you had any time managed, like work related, with your customers, clients?
Yeah, of course I do.
How did you learn from it?
Of course, of course. Like, I've had so many in the past, I've had a few clients where I've had it's a customized gown, for example, which means it's very technical, it's very time consuming, and it's not something that I've done yet. And I haven't done this before, where it becomes easier. So, the routine to keep going. And certain things need to be done because that's part of our contract that we've discussed. And you just find yourself working around the clock. So what that means is, for me, I'll be sewing till 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I'll have to go back to bed and then still get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get the kids ready for school. And I've got each person going to a different area, so I still have to organize them. So, like, I've got to take one to Harris Park, one to like the other side of Maryland. You know what I mean? So I still got to be able to do all of that. And then in the afternoon, when like they have to come and pick up their outfit, sometimes I ask them, well, you need to be a little bit flexible with me and come to see me maybe in the evening, where I have time to, finish what I have to do, and then I could prioritize their appointment, and give them the outfit, or.
Yeah,
It's so hard because
it is
It is.
hard. It's hard, I think, also in your circumstances, because people are like obviously excited about the gown and they want to chat to you, but also I guess it's hard because your studio is at home, and so you have
That's
to
right.
balance
Both.
obviously strangers coming into your home, but it's also still your space and your family space.
That's
And
right.
how do you like distinguish the both? Like, is there a way that you kind of you only let
Well,
people?
from the beginning of when I first started my business, my client, to get to know me, they have to know me personally. For example, when they come to see me, it's nice of them. Like, you have to get to on a personal level. And for me, I'm an open book. So I feel I have nothing to hide. If I'm showing them my home, this is me. This is what I have. This is where I am. So I'm happy for them to come and see me. And honestly, the right client is always happy and never complains about the situation that I'm working from home. I do allow people to come to my home. Sometimes I sit down and do consultations in my lounge room. I'm happy with that. Um, the clients, some clients are really happy with that too, because what happens is their baby comes in unsettled. Sometimes the baby needs to be changed. Sometimes the baby needs to be fed. Sometimes they need that room where the mother needs to feel comfort. So they do appreciate that, and they do thank me for it. So for me, I realized that if they could be comfortable with me, I could be comfortable with them sharing my personal space with them, and them trusting me to make them an exquisite gown for their special occasion. I'm no longer only available for that day. I'm there with them for the next 20, 30 years, as long as that gown is with them and is passed down to other kids. So I'm there with them for that length of time.
Yeah,
So
I
it
love that.
becomes, yeah, so it becomes, yeah,
Mm. You become part of a memory, part of,
I
pretty
do.
much everything to do with that
I do.
child and that the memory of that
That's
day.
right. I had a person, and I used to say that all the time, and I used to think, I hope one day what I'm saying is true, and it does come true. I had someone give me a call and say, Denise, we met about 10 years ago. You invited me to your home. We sat down, we did our consultation. You made me an exquisite gown, and now I have it in storage, and I have a niece, for example, that wants to wear the gown because no one's had babies for a long time. And she said, I pulled out the gown. It's still in immaculate condition. And I'm just ringing you up to thank you. And I still remember everything we discussed that day. See, I forgot, but they remember.
Of course,
It
Mm.
because
becomes a
you're one
memory.
person to them, but you've got hundreds of clients,
Yeah.
so
And they
That's so
remember.
yeah.
beautiful, though.
It is nice. And then you realize you go, oh, that's so sweet. It makes my job really worthwhile.
Yes,
And
keeps you going.
yeah. And also, I need to be in my personal space because I've still got 3 kids I'm running after.
Yeah. So that was going to be
Yeah.
my next question is, how do you feel that you guys balance everything? So obviously we know that when you work for yourself, sometimes the lines can be quite blurred in terms of, when you have competing priorities. Do you have things that you put in place to kind of really distinguish, okay, work life
Yes.
and personal life,
Yeah.
Yes. Boundaries
Denise?
and saying no.
Well, for me, for example, someone will tell me, oh, that's so convenient. You're working from home. You get to do
Oh
your
yeah.
housework and then you get to do work at the same time. Hey, no, it doesn't work that way. I can't do my housework and put my hand on my hand stitching and do my sewing at the same time. It doesn't work that way. I can't be cooking spaghetti in the background and then just doing that. It doesn't work that way. I
Yeah.
have to be like, when I'm working, I pull out my gowns, I put them in I pull out my gowns to show and all that stuff. If I'm cooking, cleaning, all that stuff, all of that is packed. I can't have all of that on display. I can't have that. The way you come to see me is not the same way that I run my household, My
Mhm.
household's sometimes chaotic. Like, um, you
Yeah. I
know,
think there's this stigma around people that work from home, and that, oh, it's such a lap of luxury and you can just sit at home and do whatever you like, and it's like, no, I sometimes feel like working at home is worse because you're immersed in family, like in home life, and also trying to work at the same time. And
yes,
having, like, when I was obviously still working for a business, at least when you're away from home and you're in an office and you're doing things, your mind is there and you've got no other competing priorities.
yes,
But it's such a stigma around, oh, well, you work from home, well, then that must be just so easy. And it's like, well, I don't think people realize how difficult it is to switch off your brain, to not think about the washing and the cooking and the cleaning and everything else, and just focus on your work when
that's
you
right.
when you work from home.
That's right. It's correct. Like, I'll be like, I do a lot of work in the evening. If I have a lot of hand stitching, I do a lot of that in the evening. So I find that very therapeutical for me to be sitting in, like, with the family, and doing that work. That's the only thing that I can do, really, having the kids around,
Mm.
Mhm.
or being around for them. But now my kids are getting older, in saying that, where they don't need me to organize their items or things, but they need me to, hey, mom, what do you think about this idea?
Yes.
Mom, what do you need? What do you think about this assignment? Can I read this out loud? Can I do this? There's different needs for them
The
now.
mental.
Yes, so it's become a
Yeah.
mental load. So, yeah,
The
Yeah.
needs
No,
have
I,
just
I don't
changed. And
work.
that's the thing with kids. Hey, they never stop needing you. The needs
Yeah.
just change.
As teenagers now, I tell everybody this is where real parenting comes along, and you need to make yourself available, because before teenager, it's literally just keeping them alive.
that's
Yeah.
right.
now it's like, well, this is when they need you.
This is
So
the fun part.
I've stopped working, but like up until just before I start making dinner. Like I rarely work after school, but if I have to, I have to, and they know that. But they'll still stand here and ask me. So I always have to stop and then, look at them and see what they need. But I'll tell them, look, I really need to concentrate. Just give me half an hour. So it's just that communication, telling them your needs as well. Just because they're our children, that also doesn't mean that they have access to us 24/7. They need to learn boundaries and what people, boundaries of other people's time as well. But I do make the effort of not working at all, even on my phone, because we need to do the reels and the content. So I try not to access my phone as much as I could. But yeah, I try not to work. I don't work at nights either. I used to when they were little, because they didn't need me mentally.
Well, I hope I was like you, a little bit calmer. I'm just terrible because after after I log off doing my christening gowns, I switch into swimming mode because my kids, all three of them swim, and I'm part of the committee in the club. So then
Of course you are.
I turn into that mother, and I try to see what else I can do. So by the time I drive the kids to the club, and then I go down, socialize with other parents, see what's going on, if there's anything, um, and then obviously there's that committee's got its own meetings and times and so forth,
Yes,
and
we
then
spoke
that
about
becomes
this like last
and then that
year.
becomes a juggle, and then you see the real me coming out.
It's so
The
funny
monster
because
of
we
Denise.
always say how time poor we are, but then
But
when something comes up, you're like,
yeah.
"Yep, I'll just add that onto my plate," and it's like our plate is bursting at the
Yes.
seams. It's
What's
overflowing at this
Why
point.
do
That's
So we're
you
right.
just
feel
like,
What's
like
"Yep."
another meeting? Like seriously, it's just another hour meeting. 1 hour went to 2 hours. Once it went to 3 hours, and I was losing my shit. God, I need to sew. Um,
so have you decided to exit from that, or you
I
still
can't exit from that because
why?
I'm like, I
Because you're
think
a control
freak.
person,
No,
aren't you?
no, no, no.
Oh, I
I'm not
said
a
freak, you said.
no. I'm
Why
not a
do you
control
feel like
freak.
you need to be needed in that
No,
sense?
it's well,
Because no one can do it better than Denise?
no. I'm guarantee you, there's a lot of people that could do better
Then
than me.
Khali, or let them.
Yeah, I know,
Let them.
but I do. It is a small club. My kids are one of the seniors at the moment there, so I feel like you become attached. Like I've been there for so long, you
Yeah.
know.
So you're emotionally attached to this.
I'm not emotionally attached, no, but they become like a second family after a while. These people like, so my eldest daughter was club captain at one point. That's when I started, and then she's left and she's doing her own swimming instructing whatever. And then my son is now club captain, and I feel that it's very important for the kids to have a parent there,
Oh yeah,
because
100%.
you kind of help them, and you do things together. It's like family time too. It's like you're spending time with the kids, and then you see what this club needs, and you try to just advocate towards that and try to make it better, you
But
know.
can you do that without being the? Sorry, what's your role in it?
I'm just social secretary where I organize events, and
Yeah. Can you still participate without having that title though?
yes, I can.
Maybe something to think about, Denise.
I think that's something to think about, Denise. Like you can still participate. I
And
just feel like
also,
you've been in
yeah.
this role for so long, you don't know what to do with yourself if that title isn't with,
Well, if I'm not doing that role, then I'm chief timekeeper. So
That's hilarious. Can you be a
Now she's
chief
gonna start
timekeeper
rattling
for
off
your
all her
life?
titles. Well,
That's a good
how
one,
fitting
Denise.
that we
I'm
have
I
so
can't
good at
control
it.
a
I'm
myself.
so
comparison
good.
episode.
I'm good at it. So I could like also, yep.
You can time keep everyone else's life except yourself.
But don't forget, like with clubs like this, like it's
The
so important that
hierarchy.
parents
Yeah.
it's so important that parents are involved, because without the parents,
100%.
you
You
can't get
can be
anywhere.
involved. I know you're making those excuses so you can keep this title, but you can still be involved without having all that responsibility. Or you can have that responsibility, but maybe a team with you. Why does it have to be yourself?
No, it's not only me. I've got a team also with me, and I've got one fantastic lady that works with me, like works with us in the club, and she's amazing, and she does
And
a
are
lot
you
of things.
delegating stuff to her?
Well, she delegates things to me now. No, she's really great. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
sweet. Come
rolling
here.
off, actually, that's a good segue into my next question.
To
So
be
my next
honest,
question
yeah.
was going to be around delegating and asking for help, and whether you're good at doing that and you kind of will actively delegate and ask for help.
No, you can do that, but the problem is if there's no one else that can do it, then what can you do? You have to be doing it. So it is great to delegate and give it to someone else, but then there's that, like, if there isn't that person, if there is nobody that can do it, then what can you do?
But like a lot of people can do it, they just don't want to.
Well, they're not available.
That's the difference. Well, because they've made themselves not available. You've
Yeah.
made yourself
Because
available.
they've
They're like,
put
well, why
boundaries
should
to
I do
not
it when
make
Denise
themselves
can do
available. Mm.
it? You
So
feel
Karma,
Denise?
you tell me, are you good at delegating? Are you good at asking for help? Especially
Yes,
within,
always.
whether it's personal life, whether it's business.
Personal, business, everything. And I'm like when my girls were young, delegate my kids to my in-laws, for example, and I wouldn't feel guilty because end of the day, I know that they're there for helping me and they want to spend time with their children, their grandchildren, sorry. So I find it very surprising the new generation of mums, like my sister-in-laws and all that, they don't ask for help. So that made me question. I'm like, was I not supposed to ask for help? Should I feel bad? Should I have felt bad? Because they feel bad asking for help, like they're a burden. Like what Maureen was saying the other day, like when she would ask for help, she would feel like she's a burden. But I don't
And
know.
I
I
will
just
admit that
never.
I felt like that when
I
I
don't know.
was, I think for me, I can't obviously speak for everyone else, but for me, it was more that we like we grow up in such a society of women empowerment, and while that's fantastic and that's great and we should all feel empowered, is that sometimes it pushes too far and then we feel like we have to do it all. Not we have the option to do it all, but we have to do it all. And that means we have to keep the family going. We have to keep ourselves going. We
But
have
that's
to
such
be
a big, yeah.
successful in
But
it.
by doing that, you
Exactly.
delegate. Give everyone a
Yeah.
task. You
And I
can't do it
think
yourself.
that's where the fine line between, yes, we can have it all and we can do it all, but knowing where our limit is and where we can offload things and delegate and ask for help is where the line kind of gets blurred. And people assume that if I'm delegating or if I'm pushing that to the side and asking someone else for help, it's because I can't do it. It's because I'm not capable of doing it. And so I know that when Cruz was really little, I really, really struggled to ask for help because in my mind it was, he's my child, and there are so many other mums in the world that do it by themselves and can do it all. Why am I struggling with the one child? And like really just did not want to ask for help because in my mind I was like, I have to do this, I have to do everything, I have to put him to bed and try and run my business and that's why I ended up stopping and not doing my agency, because I just went, I can't do both. And I really wanted to be a present mum when he was little. And looking
And
back
that's
now, I was like,
excellent.
I
Yeah.
was just stupid
No,
because
but
I
I didn't
find
that's
it
ask
very
for help. I had everyone screaming at me, telling me, we're here to help, we're here to help, we're here to help. And I shut everyone out.
I found it very important to have grandparents around, especially when your kids are young. It's very important for the grandparents and for the child to develop
yeah,
that
they
relationship
love it.
together.
Oh
They
man.
they love it, and it's amazing how sometimes you, as a parent, when you're doing things with your kids, versus what your parents, what the grandparent is doing with the kid, it's amazing what they learn off the grandparent, and what the grandparent can also learn off the child. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it becomes a really important stepping stone. And I found it in my when I had my first child, to a point maybe when she was about 6 months old. I found that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go cuckoo here. She can go to her grandparents' house. I'm going back to work.
Yeah, but
You know,
yeah, but you allowed
yeah,
it. You gave that space to your parents or
I did.
in-laws to do that.
Uh,
Well, I've
yes.
seen horrible,
Some people are too
horrible
scared to do
situation.
that.
But not even, it's just disgusting how they treat their parents with their kid. It's my child. This is a. They do it in public, so God knows what they say
That's
behind
right.
closed
And I
doors.
don't
But they're
like
not
that
giving.
because
But
it's not right.
umbrella, but like I've never ever made my parents or my in-laws ever feel like having to second guess what they're doing or
That's right.
dictate what they're doing, because they need to learn other things other than the way I teach.
That's it. That's it.
And my girls are
Yeah.
12, 14, and they're so open and aware of things. They're so they like to learn new things, and they're not
That's right.
controlled by just my husband and I.
That's it. And they need to like you know, it's so important. I know some people just sit there and they say to their parents, "Oh, you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't."
It's
And you
just
think to yourself, "But why are you putting so much nose and
yeah,
blockages in between?"
yeah,
It's not becoming, it's making that job for that
yeah,
grandparent very difficult, and they make it not fun, and they don't want to do it
Yeah.
anymore.
yeah.
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 Just is very disheartening to hear. Oh, I called my parents today and I yelled at them because they gave my child chocolate. Or it's not their fault if they went and stuck into the cupboard and got it, or just let them have that little bit
But I
of
also
the
think
grandparents'
that, like,
house.
we sometimes just bubble wrap them too much, where it's like
No, I'm never
they have
bubble
to
wrapping my
eventually
kids.
experience the
Yeah,
real world and differing opinions and different ways that people think and feel and act, and and you can't
yes.
shelter them from that.
You
And
can't,
so,
because you'd rather they're in your home so you can guide them.
correct. And then
That's it.
and so, like, with my parents, my son is so close to his grandparents, and he we've always opened the door to my dad coming, and, like, we've always said to him, like, you don't need to ask us to come and visit your grandchild, like, just turn up, like, he's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, he's your grandchild. And so that's what my dad does. Like, for example, every Fridays, he knows, because dad finishes work early on Fridays, and so it's the one day that he can go and pick up my son from school. And so every Fridays, that's what he does. Fridays
Yeah.
is his day with my son. They go to the shops, they hang around. He buys him hot chocolate, buys him every candy under the sun, chocolate, whatever he wants. You know what I mean? And, like, who am I to sit there and be like, you can't give him that? No, that's their time. Like, and my
That's it.
son looks forward
And
to
that's
it.
all
He
they
looks
know.
forward to it every single
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Like, unless there's a specific dietary requirement, like an allergy, or like they actually
Yeah,
can't
that's
have
right.
sugar,
That's
diabetes,
right.
any health issue, like a little
Yeah.
treat every now and then, and maybe at a
Yeah.
good time of the day, not at the end.
Yeah.
Because
Go
they're
No, they're
building
very,
memories.
very,
They're building
very
memories with
important.
their grandparents.
They
You
are.
know, who are we to take
And
that
you know
away?
what? It gives you that time where you could you can re-energize yourself and say to yourself, well, they're now with the grandparent. I could do something else, or I can, like, just de-stress for that, moment. You
Yeah.
might have had a, stressful morning with that child,
Mm.
and it just you learn to appreciate things a little bit more and see it in a different light when someone else is involved.
Yeah, and that's another
Yeah.
good time management skill. Delegating a
Yep.
child to someone
There you
else.
go.
Here you go.
Here you go. And the other issue is, well, if I give them to this person, they're going to be unsettled when I have them. Well, so
Tough
what?
cookies.
That's part
Resettle
of
them.
resettle them. That's like, you're recharged now, and you should go into it knowing that might happen because they're not in their routine. I've stopped babysitting because of that. Like, it took the fun out of that, and it makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
No, I just babysat my nephew and my niece the other day, and they don't usually stay with me. They usually stay with my parents, but they
I
were
saw
both
your video.
busy.
The cookies, that's so cute.
Oh no. Well, what are you gonna do with they are so cute and adorable, but my nephew is cling to his mum. So he is, like, not happy when his mum's not around. But it's okay. He managed to, as long as he had his fingers in the power points, he was happy.
I would have loved to see that video of you chasing him around.
My daughter was chasing him around, going, "Mom, he's gonna get electrocuted." And I'm like, his dad's a
Happy.
Sparky.
His dad's a Sparky.
It's going in the family. I love it.
Oh, that is so cute.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just gotta see the funny side of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But when
Exactly.
my
You can't
sister
take life too
Yeah,
seriously.
but when my sister picked him up, my sister-in-law picked him up, I said to her, you know what? I forgot how exhausting kids can be.
Yeah, my daughters are hilarious when the baby comes in. It's very exhausting for them
Yeah,
too, because they demand attention.
they do. They do. And you got to give them that attention so that they're always like entertained.
Yeah. My daughters were at my nephew's house the other day, and he's only like 2 or 3, I don't know, 3 years old. I'd say 3. And he's like, my sister-in-law sent a video of them to her son dragging my 14-year-old daughter around in circles, just holding her leg or her hand, dying of laughter. So he demands attention.
Yeah.
They're so tired.
Well, it
But
just
I guess
reminded me of when we were at your house, Karma, and I had Cruise, and we were doing our shoot.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of it, then like we were about to go, and then Karma just looks at me and she's like, "Gosh, boys are so much energy. Like I'm just so not used to it because I had 2 girls, and he's so full of energy." And I was like, "This is my life, 24/7."
Yeah, that's
but he was
right.
such a good boy, though. It was good.
But you know what? It's also good for your daughters because they get to like play a little bit, which where they naturally would have not done that because they're so
Sit
calm.
down and
Yeah,
serious.
and they could be they could do a bit of fun things, you know.
Oh, yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
It's tiring for them, but
Like my nieces love coming over because I've got a boy, so and my boy's 15, and they like to annoy my son, and they're like, "Oh, auntie, you know we don't have a brother, but he's so cool to play with," and they love to play with him. And my son's like, "Oh, well, you know."
that's cute. It's cute
Yeah,
to see,
it's
especially
lovely.
like a teenage boy.
Yeah,
Just helps them also, like especially with girls that like
that's
nurture that
right.
side of their
But I
personality.
always have to warn him, look, you know, you got to be gentle. These are girls, like they're not like another
How
boy
old
where
are
you have
they?
to. They're like about 13, 12, 10.
Okay.
You know, the girls. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
That's really cute. Okay, well,
So- Hope we all learned something about time management between our gas bagging.
I certainly did. I know. I certainly did.
Just
and I think
Send out
it's a
calendar
good
invites to
reminder for
everybody.
everyone. Yeah, I literally. I'm telling you that everyone knows if it's not on my calendar, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're hilarious. I'll try to still convince my family to open their calendar for me.
Yeah.
Nah,
Well,
I've tried
that's the
convincing
thing
my
though, because they
husband.
know you're going to do it. Like with both of you,
Yeah,
they know
that's
you're
right.
going to do or remind them. They're relying on your reminders. So
Yeah.
there has to be a time, maybe like it's when you're ready. I don't know. It's going to be hard. It's going to be harder for you. Is don't remind them. You need to train them to look at the calendar.
I did that once, and then Cruz missed everything that week.
Well, that's their problem.
So he didn't go to swimming. He didn't go to martial arts. He didn't go to his soccer clinic training thing. He just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because
Well, that's
I
how
didn't
my
remind.
husband trained me to look at my calendar. I was the same. He's like, why didn't you look at the calendar? Why didn't you remind me? He's like, why didn't you look at the... It was just a constant. So that's how I trained myself. Well, I'm not relying... Because I relied on my husband heavily to just remind me for things. So that's... I think maybe a task you guys can just take away. It will be harder for you. So maybe on a week where there's not so many important things. And say, look, I'm not reminding you this week. Look at the calendar. No, just do an announcement. I'm not reminding you this week. Look at the calendar. I've got too much on. That's your task for the...
Yeah, but in the
Denise
same
doesn't
time,
like-
you don't want them
Put
to
your
know
foot down.
everything.
Huh?
See, you don't want them to know everything.
What do you mean?
I don't want them to know that I'm having
just
coffee
share
today with
things
Karma
that you
and
do.
No, delegate
No, you
as
just
in
share
their
things.
calendar.
yeah.
So what I do is anything that's like cruise related or like bills or like things that we both need
Add
to
him
know.
to the
then,
calendar.
Yeah,
His
I
email.
just invite him into that specific thing.
only.
And then
Right.
he
They'll
can
only see what's
see
for
that.
them.
Yeah.
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 Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
they've got their own emails, but she's not going to do it anyway.
No, all my
Yeah,
kids
it's
have
like
their own
enjoy you
emails.
1 year and other-
This is advice for the rest of the world, guys.
That's right.
This is
That's
how-
Unless you're like me
right.
and you have a chaotic
Not a fit.
household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do what Denise
Yeah.
does. Get the stick and you're like, run in shape.
No, it's all good. It's all good. No, it's the baby steps. We're taking them there.
Baby steps, yeah.
Baby
I'll
steps.
give you the end result. My
Yes.
husband's like, stop giving everyone the end result. I'm like, I just know the answer. Just find your way to it. So
Yeah, we'll eventually get there. It might be.
we'll get
this-
there. We'll get like this. Yeah. But like, I'd be interested to see how long it will take for your, at least I know Joe would probably try it. So
I will
let's
try.
Yeah,
As soon as he
try
comes
it.
home.
So this week I'm not gonna, and don't say Karma says, because I get in trouble a lot with husbands when people say Karma said. So don't don't mention my name.
Yeah, she's just like this,
Somebody,
even though
just
it's
say
on the
somebody
podcast,
said.
just don't mention.
Somebody said.
He's not
Somebody
the target
said.
audience for this podcast.
Always, yeah. Anyway, all good.
All right,
I get in
beautiful. Thank
trouble
you so much, ladies, for coming on. Denise, thank you so much for joining us today. We
Not a problem.
loved having you on. We'll definitely probably have you on again because you are a wealth of knowledge. And how
Yes.
ironic that the timekeeper was the one to get the time management segment.
Yeah.
But thank
Yeah.
you so much. Like I loved it. It was so good.
I swear, you guys need to do a day with me. Like you'll see
I
the
would
way.
love to. Just follow you
Yeah.
around.
I know.
Yeah.
You need a
You
reality
get
show.
both angles.
No,
I'll
no,
put one
don't get too
angle in.
excited.
Mhm. You need a reality show.
It's just your reactions.
Denise just cracking it.
But say elegantly too, though. You still look
I
elegant all
know.
the
She's
time.
so nice about it. Like when she's telling people off for coming to her home without an appointment.
Yeah, that's right. Seriously, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you want to knock the door and I'm just
I
going to say,
know.
oh, yeah, hello? Sometimes I've told them that I'm not available. Like, but then I feel so bad and so guilty for saying that.
Yeah, I know. And then we go
Yeah.
again with the guilt.
Time management
Yeah,
101.
exactly. Time
Don't feel guilty.
management. Very beautiful.
All right. Done.
Thank you so much, ladies,
Thank
again
you.
for coming on.
Yes.
And I hope you all have a beautiful day.
Yes.
See ya.
Me
All
too.
right.
Bye.
Before we finish up today's episode, we'd like to give a heartfelt thank you to Josephine and the team at Grove Psychology Consulting for proudly sponsoring today's episode of Take a Sip. Grove Psychology Consulting provides compassionate and professional psychological support for adults, children, families and businesses across the Liverpool and Southwest Sydney community. If you'd like to learn more about their services or book an appointment, you can visit their website at www.growthpsychologyconsulting.com.au or call the team directly on 02 9600 6619. Thank you so much for listening to Take a Sip. Don't forget to follow, share and stay connected with the Business Mum Society community, and we'll see you in the next episode.